Sup everybody, this is Mattia, and today we're going to take a look at the Etymotic ER2XRs. This is a model from Etymotic, of course, and the guys started in 1966, I think, and their first in-ear monitor was in 1996, and it was the ER4 PT. Then they evolved with the ER3XR and SR and the ER4SR and XR. What the difference actually is in all of those models that have in the ER series, and all of them got a variant, and the variant is XR or XSR. The XR means extended response, and it basically is a slight sub-bass boost in comparison to the SR variant. That means a couple more dBs in their balanced armature models, which are the ER3 and ER4. This is a dynamic driver, and the XR model has like 5 or 6 decibels more, like quite a lot more than the ER2XR, the other variant. So these have a sub-bass boost under 100 Hz, and it is noticeable. These are the bassiest Etymotic in-ear monitors compared to all the ER lineup, and I think that also that thing might also be for the physicality, the actual slam of the dynamic driver in these. Etymotic had a dynamic driver earphone before this, and I think it was the MK5 isolator earphone. This, though, is the basic next step up from those, and it is in their professional series, the ER series. So I want to also point out that I bought these with the recommendation of DBS. Originally his channel was called DBS, now it's called The Honest Audiophile, and because of his glowing review on these, I bought them. And you can find his channel in the description if you want to check him out, but I just want you to know that it was because of his review that I bought these. So I guess I'll start with the packaging. The packaging is relatively simple. It has I just realized that I put these in the wrong order. In the first place you should find, the earphones are actually in this foam, some paperwork, and this is the special edition model, and what that means is they include the double flange ear tips that many people actually find more comfortable than the triple flange ear tips, and actually with some people these things were a savior for them, because they just could not wear Etymotics unless it was with these ear tips. And you have different sizes, and this is the limited edition model. Oh, by the way, these come at the price of around $100, and you can find them as low as $60 in the used market. So if you find them at $60, these are a huge, massive, chunky deal. At $100, absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth it, and even more. Then it comes with these giant ass foamies. These are big, huge, massive, almost the size, they're actually bigger than my pinky. Imagine sticking these in your ear canal. Wow, damn. Then you got these huge, this is the bigger version of the triple flange ear tips. As you can see, these are bigger. So if you can get a good seal with these ear tips, you have the other model. Also, this package comes generally if you also take the standard variant. This is obviously included with the standard variant. And actually, I find these too big just by looking at them, and I didn't find any problems with the included ear tips. Other accessories, yeah, the special edition comes with a Lightning to 3.5 millimeter adapter, and actually in there is a filter replacement thingy which replaces the actual filter that is inside the nozzle. And yeah, you can alter the treble response with that. Then you got the warranty and the case, which, hold on a second. Okay, all set. I'll just take this to the side. Okay, yeah. You got this case, which as far as now goes, contains something else. And it is a very soft, very plush, high quality. This is like almost a suede kind of feeling, and this is a rubberish material. And then you got the zip. Inside of here you currently have the beautiful Moondrop Starfields, which are now sadly completely replaced by these, for reasons we're going to talk about them. And yeah, the case is high quality, and also has like a strap there. I don't know if you can see it. Yeah, here you go, and there's a strap in case you want to bring some other ear tips with you. And yeah, so do not expect an extremely high level of protection from this. If someone steps on this and you have this in, I think it's going to crush them. It's not a hard case, it's not a hyper protective case, it's just a very high quality pouch, and I like the feel of it. It's just slightly too big for the size. These actually are extremely lightweight. These don't weigh nothing. The cable, the actual connection here, weighs more than the earpiece, than the barrel. That's a bit insane. And yeah, the case, here we go. It's a great case. I wish it was... No, actually, it's fine with its dimensions. I just use the Moondrop one because it's... honestly, I think it is... Oh my god, sorry about that. Oof. Okay. Yeah, I don't want you to know what the fuck I have this set up, but as you may have listened to, this is some scotch. I've actually taped a phone on a bottle with some scotch to record. Insane, right? That's genius, but that's because I'm poor as fuck. So let's continue. And yeah, ER2XRs. The build quality on these is, I guess, minimalistic. It's decent. It's great. I mean, they have an aluminum chassis, aluminum barrel, and they have this anodized finish. It is like a matte blue, which I really like, because the other IMs in the ER series are black or gray, respectively for the ER4s and the ER3s. The cable is a huge problem for me because it feels cheap, and it tangles a lot. It has that grippy, like not plastically, rubbery feeling. It's it like scratches onto your skin. This is actually a functional oh my god, no, this is called chin slider, yeah. And then you have this barrel, which is the splits, and it is made with the same aluminum that these are made of, so that's another thing. And it comes with this still very rubbery, still very cheap feeling termination, and it is 3.5 with actually a successful like strain relief. This actually works, and I wish it was just a straight connector, but I'm honestly fine with this. I don't have any problems with it. And the hugest problem that I have with this cable, aside from all the nitpicking and the fact that it's very cheap, it is the huge, horrendous, absolutely disgusting amount of microphonics that this has. Even when I turn my head around, I'm just like turning my head around while I'm wearing these, and it really just scratches onto my skin and my beard, so it's not a pleasant feeling. This has a lot of noise in it. I cannot even walk with it unless I'm using the shirt clip that actually is included with the ER2s, and I really do not want to. You don't really want to walk with these unless you are fine with replacing the cable with their higher end ER4 cable, which actually costs too much and is $50, and it is, I think, maybe more practical, and I hope it doesn't have as much microphonics as this has, because my god. And yeah, I wish those were not there, but it's not too bad. It's bothering me a lot, but it's not like, oh my god, deal breaker. You can live with it. And yeah, the cable is detachable. They have the standard proprietary locking MMCX Etymotic connector, and you can replace this cable, thankfully. Yeah, that's it for the build. Then the comfort, isolation, and how you fit it, because how you fit it is important with these. They actually have a very deep fit, as all the other Etymotic IMs do. You have to push these past the second band of your ear canal. If you don't know what that means, it means very deep. Probably deeper than you will want to, and deeper than you think you want to push them. The first time I wore these, I was like, whoa, that's too, like, I almost was I almost developed instantly a claustrophobic feeling from the pressure and the actual, like, they were too inside my brain, and I could not wear them for too much. Then after 20 minutes and 15-20 minutes, I was like, yeah, this is fine, it's not uncomfortable. But since this is a sealed IM, be careful. Be careful, because sometimes it can really create a severe amount of pressure inside your ear canal, and that can be troublesome for some people. Yeah, the fit is not for everyone. These isolate like a beast. They claim 35 to 42 decibels of isolation, 35 with these like triple flange ear tips, and 42 with the foamies, which I don't know how the fuck you're going to get those foamies inside your ear canal. I don't know, they're giant, they're elephantic. Absurdly they're too big. And yeah, you get that kind of isolation, and I can't almost hear my own voice. I can't almost understand what I'm saying when I'm wearing these. And if you're on a bus, if you're on a plane, if you just want everyone to shut the fuck up, get these. They isolate absolutely wonderfully. You can't hear much, and especially when there's music playing, you are isolated. You are out from this world. If you want to hear what what having a hearing problem is, and these are for you. You're going to get that kind of experience. Yeah. Now, sound, the best part of these. The isolation actually contributes to a couple of things that these do, and it is very interesting. Let's start by talking about the bass. The bass is generally elevated in the sub bass. It drops off after like 125 hertz, 150 hertz, and then you got a rather linear mid bass, linear mids in general. You have a rise in the pinna gain of about 12 dBs from 1K. I think it's from 1K. I should check the graph again. And it is 12 dB pinna gain. Do not be scared by those 12 dBs, because these actually surpass, if you get them deep, these actually surpass some of the reflections in your ear canal, and they don't really sound harsh at all in those upper mid-range and like mid-range generally frequencies. They do not sound harsh at all. And then you got a treble that is a bit rolled off after 10K, and it completely goes down after 16 kilohertz. These are the dynamic driver. You're going to get a different sound from their ER3 and ER4 SR and XR models. It has a physicality to it that those simply don't have. They might not be as accurate, they might not be as clear or detailed, but that je ne sais quoi, the actual genetics of the dynamic driver in these really do pop up, and you can really hear the difference. So bass here is tight, punchy, impactful, but with EDM tracks or dubstep tracks, I think that you could wish for a couple more decibels in the mid bass region. With the sub bass, I think it's completely fine. The impact is there. It is tight, fast, and very, very controlled. This is this bass never bleeds into the mid range. It doesn't even touch the mid bass. It is a clean and fast bass, but it does retain some punch to keep those frequencies engaging. Then you got the mid-range. My god, that mid-range. The mid-range is clear as a bell. It is clearer than actually some balanced armature earphones, while retaining that physicality and that timbre and naturalness that dynamic drivers usually have. But this is a special case. This has an insane timbre in the mid-range. It sounds so natural. I was listening to Roughneck from Skrillex, and the start of the song is beautiful. That first like 45 seconds before the drop, those are beautiful. You have this bass electronic sounds, and you have the violins in the background, and you have this huge wallop of like it's beautiful. Go check out that song. It's my god. And shit started to sound real. I'm not joking, shit started to sound real. At a certain volume, of course, these actually scale well with volume. That means that they do not get harsh at higher volumes, and that for me is something very important, because if you can't get the volume right up to your preferences, I don't think you're going to enjoy an earphone as much as you want to. Often an IEM has some peak that in the treble or the upper mid-range that generally throws off the capability of turning up the volume more and listening and maybe enjoying the music more. And these do not really have that. Of course, there is a stop. If you blast these, that upper mid-range is going to get you. But I listen to sustainable, decently loud volumes like 80 dBs, 82 dBs, or 77 dBs, like that range of volume. And these do not really bother me that much. They are controlled, clean, tight. They remain clean and unaltered when turning up the volume. And yeah, the mid-range expresses itself in a beautiful manner. It is clean, timbre and tonality are amazing. They are lifelike, like almost the levels of my HD600s. Vocals on these sound extraordinarily clean, but at the same time they have that like chestness. They have a wall of sound to them that resembles the sound of my HD600s very much. It is huge, impactful, and if it wasn't for the fact that some tracks, if they're not, these require decently recorded tracks, not perfectly mastered ones, but at least a decent amount of recording quality to get the best out of them. Because if you feed them like AC/DC, it's fine. AC/DC is going to sound fine, but there are some songs that can get like, they sound dull and lifeless. But then you put something from like postmodern jukebox, like Black Hole Sun, the like edition from the actual like postmodern jukebox, and that thing is absolutely insane. These cope well with natural instruments, with real instruments, better than they do with electronic music. But electronic music sounds so clean that that thing too, despite not having any real instrument, is these sound lifelike. I don't know what other term I have to describe the sound of these. It's so natural that you get lost in the music. And yeah, mid-range, almost impeccable, absolutely outstanding. Then you have the treble response. The treble response is I don't want to say, it's not extremely detailed like the mid-range is. These earphones generally do not have a forward signature. They keep like their pace back a bit. They have they really take music back like a step. They are not forcing it towards you. And for that, these are extremely good. And the treble rolls off a bit. It is an offensive treble, and it's not grainy, it's not sharp by any means. There is some amount of sparkle, like up there. There is a peak somewhere in like a 14K, 16K before rolling off. And there are some songs that really get that stuff out, and wow, sounds so good. But generally, the treble response, while being detailed, is not offensive by any means. I can understand why people may find these a bit lacking in that region. They're not lacking for me at all. Actually, I prefer a smoother treble response, but I can understand why people will want a bit more sparkle. If you will, that is the downside of the ER2XRs. Then the soundstage. The soundstage is relatively closed in, actually pretty damn closed in, but I noticed a thing that when you actually get used to the sound signature, like you put them in, you get a good seal because it's substantial with these getting a good seal. You start listening and you get used to the sound signature, you get used to the stage, and some songs, those that are actually recorded very well, can present a. Why must the battery run off in the worst of the moments? Okay, yeah, back to what I was saying. On the better recorded tracks, these present a depth, a certain amount of literal furtherness from the sound. I'm not talking about width, I'm not talking about the largeness of the soundscape. I'm talking about how far in front of you or behind you can instruments go. And Black Hole Sun, as I was alluding to, Black Hole Sun from Postmodern Jukebox, that song presented literally a room, a deep, vast room around this I am. It was all inside my head, but it was reaching a level of spacing and actual distance that other IMs or even headphones just can't manage to do. And it's a curious thing. These do not really have much height, but they have a really deep sound. They have an amount of layering and separation that is remarkable. Please focus, things. That is remarkable. It is very remarkable. And yeah, I'm satisfied with the stage. I think that width could do better than it is doing right now, and if these drop down a couple of decibels in the upper mid-range elevation, in the pin-gain elevation, if these actually managed to, I don't want to say widen up in an extreme way the soundstage, I just want a couple of centimeters more to the left or more to the right. These could be really the be all and all, and the only earphone that I could ever want. I'm sure that down the line I'm going to find some upgrades, but these are the best I've ever heard. And I didn't listen to an amazing amount of IMs. I think that this is the maximum price I've ever extended at. Maybe surpassed by the Shozi Neo CP that were $165. But yeah, for this price, if you can get away with... Oh, another important thing. If you want a good bit of dynamics, like actual punch, impact, and the actual correct scaling from the quietest point of a song and the loudest point of a song, these can reproduce that. I've never heard such dynamics aside from the Shozi and Neo CPs. Those presented bass dynamics very well, but these do dynamics
in a real manner, like in an interesting way. The drop, for example, the drop when the orchestra rises up all at once in mountains from the Interstellar soundtrack, you really get that sense of scale and dynamic range from that song that I've not heard at all from other headphones or AM, not even my HD 600s. And that's quite impressive, quite remarkable. And I was like, wow, what is this? And I'm astonished. I'm astonished by these. And if we want to compare them to the Moondrop Starfields, so I think that the build quality and looks in general with the Starfields are, this is not the stock cable of the Starfields, of course, that will have been like killer. And the Starfields, I think, just personally, they look much better. I think they are more solid, they are better painted, they have more craftsmanship behind them, and they are built very, very nicely. Their stock cable is much better. They don't have nearly the same problem of like the microphonics from the cable. They don't go nearly as deep as the Etymotics, and so they do not isolate as much. But what I think the Starfields lack in comparison is that control over the upper mid-range and the treble region that the ER2XR has. I don't think these have a very particular like volume scaling capability. Things can get harsh at higher volumes. These do not have the same tonality and lifelike timbre of the ER2XRs, but the bass is more elevated, the bass is more fun, it isn't as controlled, it decays more slowly, and that can be a positive thing actually for EDM tracks. It is a bit slower, it's not muddy. What these do better is staging, and as far as like width and treble extension. The treble after 10K on these has a more noticeable like peak. It's not a harsh peak, it's a satisfying peak, and it really like gives off that last bit of air and resolution like in those upper frequencies. But I think these are more detailed than the Starfields, and the Starfields are already very detailed, already a very detailed IM, and I think that the Starfields are going for a warmer and brighter sound, like more of a V shape. These are more neutral, more neutral, like far more neutral. So these can sound a bit dull, and overall I give the cake to the ER2XRs. Yeah, that's it for the comparison. I think that the ER2XRs exhibit a more controlled, a more mature, and a clearer, more defined, more detailed sound, and a more natural approach that is not in your face as the Starfields might be. Although the Starfields with orchestral passages, softer music, you crank up the volume a bit, they're really satisfying. I think that these are an upgrade though. It's not a huge, massive upgrade, but it is a noticeable upgrade. Yeah, that's it. I'm very satisfied with these. Thanks again to DBS for recommending them. Wow. My God. So, see you next time for the next review, and I recommend these a lot. Well, ciao.